Alright, hello, hello, stargazers. Welcome in, welcome in. How is everybody doing today? Hello, hello, hello. Hello, Janu. Hello, Aqua. Hello, Kisukai. Hello, MG. Hello, Wilson Fox. Hello, Sim Zero. Hello, Arknight. Hello, Lilith. Hello, Daho. Hello, Catch. Hello, Zengetsu. Hello, Eritane. Hello, Stockler. Hello, hello. Welcome in, everybody. Hello, Raul. Hello, Janu. Hello, Gary Ballard. Hello. Welcome in. Hello, Babylon. Hello, Blood Sully. Hello, Uncreative. Hello, Thupidebra. Am I a bit distracted today? No worries, no worries. It's probably gonna be I guess a shorter stream. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of messed up, guys. I kind of messed up. I thought that there were more outfits, and then I realized that, they are pacing it differently than I assumed. So I didn't realize those come out later, so we can still look at the Ave Mujica outfits because, you know, it'd be good to get content out for that anyway. But yeah, I didn't realize that that there wasn't as much here, so we might pad the stream or just have a short one. I'm not really sure. Kind of depends on what you guys say. The huge influx of outfits only seems to be during anniversary. I knew it wasn't going to be huge, but I thought there were a few others. But yeah, I didn't realize. Greetings from Baldur's Gate? Alright then. It's fine. It's fine. It's all good. It's all good. The problem is I'm sort of in a mindset right now where, like, I am trying to work on art stuff off stream to try to study styles and stuff, and my brain is going like a million miles a minute with completely unrelated things. So I'm just like, oh shoot, I could have planned better today. But that's okay, that's okay. How are you guys doing? Just these 5 is expensive enough, true. Very, very, very true, yes, I would agree to that. But yes, hello Credence, welcome in, welcome in. It's only 5. I know, I messed up. I messed up a little bit, but yeah, it's definitely expensive. Oh. You've committed to the bit hard and okay. Alright, noted. Alright then. But yeah, I'm sort of like, I'm not gonna lie, I'm thinking about so many different things right now, because, like, on the non-Arknight side, I'm thinking so much about, like, Illusionari stuff and art stuff, and it's hard for me today to sort of, like, shift focus back a little bit. I'm still just trying to figure out, like, where that good balance is, but Thursday is still supposed to be an Arknights creative day in some form, so it'd be like that sometimes. Yeah. Reject Arknights, embrace Illusionari. I can't reject, definitely not. Can I consider myself lucky I don't care about this collab? What is Bag Dream even? Saves me a bunch of OP on these skins. Fair enough. Yes, fair enough. Illuminati? No, Illusionari. Illusionari. You are an Illusionari creator now, do not resist. The problem with Illusionari is that it is just me and myself and I, and it makes it really difficult. It makes so much of it really difficult. I have nothing else to go on. There's no veterans to ask. Reject Illusionari, embrace cheese? Oh my gosh. What if the cheese is in Illusionari though? How does that work? Yeah, I'm thinking about so many different stuff like a mile a minute though. It's crazy. It's crazy! It's crazy, it's crazy. I just wanted to say again, big thank you to, KLMX and Artemis. The clay came in, so that is really exciting. I've been trying to create a space for it. I want to try to get going on the Hoshi piece soon, because I think I'm basically starting over at this point with it. So, I'm glad that I will be able to work on it. I just, I kind of have to go and start from scratch again. If the cheese is in Illusionari, it has a good chance of being an illusion, doesn't it? Not necessarily. Not necessarily. It could still be perfectly edible. Cheese paradox. Just you, yourself, and you? Really? No one else is helping? Not at all? That's not what I meant. That's not what I meant. I meant that... I don't know how to explain it. That's not what I meant. No, there's a lot of, friends behind the scenes. But... Nessa, don't do this to me. Come on. You're throwing me off here. Can't wait to see Cleoshi. The promise of Spinny Shield has me hyped. That's the main reason that I'm, like, trying to, that's the main reason I'm trying to complete it and not switch it to something else, is I really, really want to try the spinny thing. You're the only one doing all the physical work? No, I can't explain it. I can't explain it. You know what I mean, but I can't explain it. But no, obviously I have other people helping. Obviously I have other people giving input. Obviously the whole community is a part of it. Anyway. Let's just move on. Let's just move on. Let's just jump in and, do a little bit of fashion review. Alright. Let me pause this, switch here, jump in here. Hello, Suzerain! Welcome in, welcome in. Alright. Let's see here. So I haven't, like, I know that all of these outfits exist, but I haven't given each one, like, a super, super deep dive. So I'm excited to sort of, like, look a little further into it, right? Alright. Let's see here. It is, like, I know we're not really far into the story yet, but I am curious if there's ever, like, sort of an explanation on each animal. Probably not. I don't know. I'm curious about it. Anyway. Alright. Sandy has been used, yes. I can't farm this event well at the moment because I'm only on stage 2, so I'm just trying to get through what I can. Alright. Let's see here. So first one, we have, Sakiko Togawa. Oh! Okay, like I said, guys, I knew they existed, but I really have not seen these at all. Oh, this one is so pretty. What the heck? Alright, let's see. This is... Oh, this chibi is so nice. I really wish I could have used you in this event earlier. Oh, well. Let's see. Oh. Okay. This just happens to be the exact aesthetic that I'm working on building. Awesome. This just happens to be the exact aesthetic that I'm working on trying to build and narrow down. So this is, like, kind of disturbingly accurate. Oh, this one's so nice. I love this color scheme. -90. I know! I know! At least we get to use next week only one game stream between now and then. No, because if it's 8 days instead of 7 days, I think we're 1 off. So I don't know. Oh, I love this color scheme so much. Yeah, if it's Wednesday, we're sunk. What the heck? Alright, so, first of all, the color scheme is amazing. As much as I absolutely adore Amiya's outfit with the celestial themes, there's something that has always, like, enticed me with celestial themes with a tiny bit of lightness in it, a tiny bit of a sunrise or sunset, a twilight, dusk, a little bit of pink, a little bit of gold, among all the dark blues and purples and blacks. It's really not done often. It's really, really not done often. So when I see it, it just makes me so happy because it's a very unusual aesthetic. Most of the time you either see things that are very lighthearted and pastel, or you see things that are very dark and celestial and starry. It is so rare to get that twilight aesthetic, that slight pastel twilight with the darker colors. It is the aesthetic that I try to hone in on the most, and it is so hard to find. It is so rare. So the fact that this is the color palette for it is just, yeah, I'm gonna definitely need this. I love the extra texture here that they're doing with, like, the stars and the moon. Little bit of texture, adding some variation with the really smooth, there's a lot of smooth brushstrokes here, so the smooth brushstrokes against the texture is creating a really, really nice contrast. The almost purple shade of blue with bronze with some hints of purple, azure, and deep blue. Yeah, it's not common. The almost purple shade of blue with bronze is just... You don't see this too often. I could almost name on one hand where I've seen this. I see this in this skin, I see this in Pozomka's newer skin, I see it in the first key art for Genshin Impact, I see it in Celestia and Luna in My Little Pony. Can't think of many other instances. It's a really, really unusual color scheme, and not a lot of people play with it, but it's my favorite. I try to have it in this overlay. I try to have it in my own outfits. It's very, very unusual, and they did a very good job with it. Very transition to start of spring after long night of winter colors. Yes, 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 yes. It's my favorite thing. And you rarely see it ever. And they did such a beautiful job. And the only thing that makes that aesthetic better is when you combine it with crystal. And here, they took the gramophone and they added crystal. They added the crystal effects on the gramophone, in the music notes itself, a little bit of flowers among the stars and the clouds. It's just... it is the ideal aesthetic for me personally. And you know, it's funny, right? Because I was looking at Sakiko, and I'm like, I don't know anything about Ave Mujica. I don't know anything about the band. I don't know anything about, like, the rarity of the operators. All I know is, wow, it's really cool that we have the same hair color. She seems really cool. And then the banner decided to play a little, play a few games. So that's an eventuality. But overall, it is a really, really gorgeous skin. The composition is amazing too. I just realized that this almost looks like maybe the body of a guitar or some other type of instrument. We have the gramophone. I love this sort of ethereal, abstract motif it's got going here. All these different pieces, like someone was mentioning the staircase, which has a lot of its own symbolism to begin with. The sort of gold dripping everywhere. It's just... She plays piano for the group, so in that case, the staircase is kind of like mixed with piano keys, maybe. Maybe this is supposed to be sort of like... It kind of had a little bit of like a guitar shape to me, but maybe it's more of like an abstract of a piano bass. Yeah, a little bit of a grand piano shape I'm sort of seeing here as well. It's really, really abstracted, but I think they did a good job with it. Everything's just so... It's just such a nice blend of light and dark, right? Between, like, the dark of her horns against the bright light here, and then it's not taking up too much. It fades away just in time so that we can bring in these crystalline-looking notes, which allows these little stars to stand out. Everything is just very, very well balanced. The dark of the table, so that the twilight color shows through here. And then as it gets darker over here, we're again bringing in the lighter stars, the little atmospheric effects. It's really nice. It's really, really nicely done. Every little bit of highlight here, just to keep contrasting the light and the dark, so that every little detail can be shown. She's a keyboardist. The stars might represent keys? The stars might represent keys. Huh, interesting. I'm very, very biased towards this outfit already. It's a very, very lovely outfit. It's very graceful. It has sort of a little bit of that Victorian aesthetic to it. Stairs. Yeah, okay, stairs might represent keys. That makes a lot more sense. Stairs might represent keys, yes. And again, with sort of these hidden lighter colors in these layers of lace and fabric and everything. This is a very, very elegant outfit. I am biased, but this is really, really nice. And of course, anything with a lawn train is always good, honestly. But this is really pretty, genuinely. I think the contrast is just like probably the strongest part of this piece. Using the lightest lights, the darkest darks, and then marrying them so nicely together. I need to throw this one on a mood board. I need to throw this one on a mood board for sure. Matches perfectly to your taste, I'm pretty sure it really does. Like I said, it's really, really rare that you get this blend of dark and twilight. It definitely does have that sort of winter dusk feeling that you do not see often, so I am indeed very biased towards this one, but it's gorgeous. Very elegant. Alright. Master of Melodia. Tolling her decision, the stage costume is made manifest in the realm of dreams. She's the creator of the Haven, Ave Mujica. She awaits in stilled elegance that she would entice her audience onto this world. I love it. Also, really, really nice chibi. You guys know what I always say about the chibis. You guys know what I say about the chibis is I feel like they do a better job with the chibis when they can fill the box better, when the clothing flares out a little bit, just so that you can get more boundary of the box to have better composition, better weight to everything. So I really do like this chibi. What do you think of the horns? Like the ram horns? They kind of, yeah, the horns definitely help her silhouette, 100%, I agree. I mean, okay, so I don't know too much about, the different countries in Terra, right? I don't know too much about them yet, but from what I understand, it does seem that there's, like, a lot of, people with these horns in, like, Victoria, Lithuania, and maybe that's, like, a false positive. It just seems, maybe I'm just looking at, like, Lessing too much. It just seems like that's sort of a similar thing with music vibes. So I don't really know. That was just sort of my outward, observation, I suppose. There are a lot of goat people, but not Sakiko? She's sarcastic? Wait, really? I don't usually see those types of horns, though. It's usually, the tail? Oh, it does have a barb. Oh, I thought it was just a long tail with a tuft of fur on the end. Oh, okay, it does have a barb on the end. Oh, I didn't see that before. Okay, interesting. I am very, very intrigued to move along the story on Saturday for sure. Most of the characters you see with that kind of horn are Cabernet, though? You're not wrong. See, that's what I thought. Goat, sheep, and ram don't really have that kind of tail. I saw it incorrectly. I didn't see the barb on the end. I thought that it was, like a lawn... I thought it was more like a cow's tail or like a donkey's tail, where it's like, you have the lawn base and then like the fur on the end. I didn't realize that it was, a barb on the end. People will tell you no because she is sarcastic, but I do think the horns to look like a ram, to look like Lithuanian, to connect to music is intentional. Okay, so I'm not entirely off base. So yeah, she might be a sarcastic, but design-wise, it just screamed Lithuanian to me. And that's only going off of, like, visual outward observation at the moment. And again, like, I don't know, I have lessing on the home screen, so I'm very used to lessing, I guess. Alright. Anyway. Moving on here. Umiri Yahata. Alright then. Let me see here. Or, yeah. It goes, wait, let me make sure. It goes back, yes. Sakiko Togawa, Umiri Yahata. Okay, we have not, we're very behind. We have not met everybody yet. Alright. Okay, this is interesting. Let's see here. Okay, we've got a conspiracy board. She's in the center of a conspiracy board. There's little, chibis around here. Interesting. Conspiracy board of the other members. Okay. Lupo in some form. Lots of, okay, detective hat, interesting. Just sort of looking around the whole piece here. Definitely giving very conspiracy. Okay, so, based on these shoes here, based on the tail, based on the ears, she is, based on the shoe design, is she Lupo? I guess she could be Lupo or Pero. The ears are kind of throwing me. I'm not really sure which direction. The shoe design says Lupo. But those are really pointy ears for Lupo. Those are really, really pointy ears. Lupo do not normally have such, well, wolf do not normally have such pointy ears. But okay. Curious about all these chibis here. Lots of little suggested chibis. And then there's the, okay, wolf tail. Interesting. Little mini wolves, and then larger wolf here. So the whole thing is like, oh, the chains are interesting. Chained wolf. Chained wolf, except she's holding on to the chains. There's a lot of back and forth feelings here. There's a lot of, like, push and pull. Rule of thumb, looks like dog, plus crime theme, Lupo. Akujin, hello, hello! These outfits are absolutely amazing. I was gushing over Sakiko's earlier. This is it. Oh, wait, is that like a... Oh, that's a body silhouette. Oh, dear. Well, she is holding a knife. Can I zoom out any further? I guess I can't zoom out any further here. This is really... Okay, this is interesting. It's a mix of a stage piece layout. We've got the curtains and sort of the bar for the stage. But then it's mixed with the conspiracy board. We have all the little chibi detectives over here. I'm very curious to know how that relates eventually. Very, very curious to know how that all comes together. This is intriguing to me, to say the least. This is quite visually intriguing. There is a lot of push and pull. I can't tell exactly what, but the fact that the wolf is chained up is definitely an element I'm paying attention to. Because here she's holding the chain, but she is Lupo. Here's a silhouette of Lupo, but it's chained. So there's something to that. I just can't tell exactly what it is. I mean, maybe the fact that, you know, she's one of the band members stuck in a dream is probably a huge element of it. But I'm very curious to see where her storyline goes. Two disco balls that kind of look like the twin moons. That's interesting. Oh, ha! Okay, Lupo, moon. Lupo, moon, except they're disco balls. These are really interesting decisions. Huh. Can't quite tell. I think that's just the city, but it's hard to make out. Alright, there's another, tape body thing. Is there anything else that we can make out here? Really interesting silhouette, how the whole thing comes together with the wolf, with the head and the tail. Again, gramophone. Can we zoom in here at all? Is that the guitar? That looks like a guitar. It looks really small, though. It's... Huh. Interesting. Is there anything else that we can make out here? Can't quite tell what these are. I guess this is just sort of filling in the space, but definitely interesting. Really, really nice rendering on the hat. Jeez. The highlight and shadow of this hat is really well done. And lots of different fabrics here. Very intriguing. So, definitely huge crime issue. And she seems to be the prime, maybe the prime suspect, based on sort of the circling here with the conspiracy board. Lots of different detectives. I'm very curious to see how this plays out. Especially because we do know that there is those Lupo-like creatures. And the Lupo that is in the castle. I'm curious if that has any relation at all to her. Being in similar species direction, maybe not, I don't know. But regardless, really, really intriguing. It's just making me looking forward to reading the rest of the storyline. Also, really interesting effect in order to make it look like a spotlight, right? Doing the spotlight rendering, the coloring, making it look like a light is shining on her, having these dark shadows, bright light, and then deep shadow here. This is kind of a hard look to achieve, to kind of do like a bright light or a camera flash effect in a 2D illustration. That is not easy to do. So I definitely admire the artist for pulling this off. That is a hard technique to do. It just seems like, what, you make the front light and the back dark, but it's not that simple. The way the shadow is falling is really hard to replicate. So I think they did a really good job there. A little bit of aberration on the edge of the light. Yeah, that's true too. That is really cool. Alright. Just can't zoom out any further. Again, okay. Again, really nice chibi, because her tail does a great job filling the space. Look at how big that fluffy tail is! That is a large, floofy tail. The chibi, the hat, the veil part here, the bits of the ribbon and skirt here, really good job filling out the space for this chibi. Very floof indeed. Alright. Moonlight Executioner. Tolling her decision, the stage costume is made manifest in the realm of dreams. She will carry out her mission wordlessly, so she might protect the place where she truly belongs. Interesting. Alright. Very intriguing. Next we have Uika Misumi. Alright. Oh, this is really pretty. Wow, it's so bright. Alright. Oh, this is such a different color scheme to the other ones. Alright. Arrow, huh? This one is so, like, this one's so, golden hour. This has such a different color scheme to the others. Beautiful golden hour. Also, is that a painting of Sakiko in the background? Why do you have a painting of Huh. Okay. Interesting. Very interesting. Oh my gosh. There we go. Can't... Halvor? I can't read that. I can't make that out. Does she have a little chibi of herself here? These are so elegant. So beautifully rendered. The skins are a targeted attack on you and you only. Interesting with the thorns, though. What does this say? Dear... long time no see. How have you been? Can't read. Dear something. Long time no see. How have you been? Interesting. Oh man, the way the light is rendered on top is so good. The way the light's rendered over this clothing, it's just, it feels so natural, right? It doesn't feel like, so many times when you're doing this kind of effect, you will just like make the clothing normal and just put an overlay on it. It doesn't feel like they did that. It feels so natural. It really feels like light hitting this fabric. Another pair of boots you would steal? What is going on with this? What are these red pieces? What is going on here? I see the threads here, but what are they doing here? They're kind of like tangled up a little. What's going on there? Are they trying to spell something? What are they doing? That's interesting. She is really, really pretty. Absolutely, yeah. Hmm. I'm just sort of admiring the way that the flowers are rendered here. Like, it's abstract enough to not have taken forever, but it's still really nice. Really nicely done. I'm guessing she's the vocalist. Is that a microphone stand in the shape of a hand? Oh, that's kind of... Wait, that's kind of freaky. It's a microphone stand that is hand-shaped. Alright then. And there's the... Oh, it looks like a whole arm. Oh, this is... It looks like bones in an arm. That is certainly an aesthetic choice. That is certainly an aesthetic choice indeed. What is up with these, like, thorny branches? Alright, every skin that I'm seeing makes me more and more intrigued about each operator. But color scheme-wise, this is gorgeous, because we were previously seeing a lot with, like, darker colors or deep blues or deep purples, and then this just has such a gorgeous, golden hour flow to it, right? And then the golden hour lighting mixed with her black outfit is beautifully contrasted here. They did, again, these are all really, really well done. These are all very well done. And look, there's the op you got last time, Golden Glove. There you go, yeah. Oh, this has such romantic, it feels like, I mean, I guess this is the point, right? Based on this paper, based on the writing, it feels like old letters. I imagine, like, wax seals, garden parties, summertime. It's very nice. Or maybe fall. I don't know. No, it kind of feels like summer, but later in the day. Really, really nice. Very fitting for somebody with blonde fur, too. The flowers complement her very, very well. The gold's everywhere. The gold's balanced with the darker colors and the deeper reds. Very nice. Virtually everything in this picture is an extremely overt reference to Mujica's character and backstory. I assume that to be the case. We'll have to learn more later on Saturday, won't we? Alright. Caged Singer. Tolling her decision, the stage costume is made manifest in the realm of dreams. She will spurn out the cage, but accept her shackles, so she might continue to sing. These are all so intriguing. It's like, it's just enough text where it's like, it doesn't feel entirely like a spoiler, it just feels more like a teaser, right? I'm very, very intrigued. I'm very intrigued by this. Again, they do a great job, flaring out the clothing here, flaring out the veil, doing a really good job making sure that the chibi is like... I think that chibis look so much nicer when they just fill a better composition of the space, right? They were cooking with this one. Alright. Very, very nice. I think it's interesting that their standard chibis are their stage costumes, not their operator art. I think it's interesting that their standard chibis are their stage costumes, not their operator art. I can't remember off the top of my head. Cage singer, except Shackles, the ominous cat on the side staring. Oh. Alright. Meowmoo. Whoa! Okay, this one's bright. Meowmoo Utenji. Alright. Meowmoo. We just met Meowmoo. We just got to run into Meowmoo. We ended on such a cliffhanger. Oh my gosh, this is bright and fun. This is so flashy. It's funny, right? Like, I can see, I can sort of see, like, the same vibe, as Sora. Oh my gosh, this is so nice. This is just really fun. This is, like... I love the composition. It's like, it's basically a circle, right? It's basically a circle, but it has a lot going on with the ribbon, with the roses sort of peeking out, different pieces. Chess piece, that's interesting. Chess piece in the bottom left. I love this color scheme. This is so fun. Wait a minute, okay, chess piece, cards, birds coming out of a hat. Okay, magic and performance. I just realized she has two tails? Bakeneko? Unless I'm not seeing something right. Unless one of them is fake. I can't tell, actually. One is clothing? Why would you do that? Why would you do that? I will never understand that aesthetic of having a tail and then having a fashion item that makes it look like you have a second tail. Why would you do that? I will never understand that fashion statement. I think there was some other operator that I also got confused with. I don't understand why you would do that. Why would you make it look like you have two tails? Like a feather boa? It doesn't have the same texture as a feather boa, though. This is a fur texture. This is a texture used for fur, not feathers. Really long fur boa? This would not be my first choice of design. Imagine if I just had, like, a blue fur boa that I had wrapped around my regular tail. Like, that would be confusing. That is strange. There was another operator who also had a skin who I got tricked the same way with. I don't remember who it was, but I remember also mistaking a second tail. Why would you do that? I love how loose the birds are painted in. It's really loose, but it's really effective. Same with the details on the frames here. Very loose, but very effective. Is that a carousel? The painting has a carousel within it. So that probably has some sort of meaning. There's a carousel in the frame. And this, I understand, is just abstract or shattered or something, but man, I love that color scheme. Blues and holographics, you know, that is... You can get me with that color scheme for anything. It looks like she's almost stepping out of it. I just love how it flows. It's a beautiful flow, really. Balancing red and purple and gold is very intriguing. I feel like that's a hard color scheme to nail. Because I think the gold does a good job sort of holding it together. If you didn't have the gold, I don't think this would be nearly as effective. It would feel, if you didn't have the gold, it would feel too gothic. It would feel too dark and gloomy. The gold brightens everything up and makes it feel more like a Showtime piece. But then the roses give it a little bit more intrigue than a standard Showtime piece. It could just be roses of, like, you know, performance roses. There's something about this that feels a little bit more refined. Maybe it's the extra detail, maybe it's the extra texture. It doesn't just feel fun, it feels like fun but with maturity, fun but with elegance. Really, really interesting how they're pulling that off. And it's really subtle too, right? Like, it's not exactly the primary colors. We don't have any really, really strong blues, but the purple and the dark gray are kind of lending themselves decently to replacing that blue. They're also doing that in the leaves, right? The leaves aren't like a bright green like we would expect for rose leaves. They're a very, very muted, cool gray. And that cool gray allows it to stay in the piece nicely. There's just a hint of a little bit of shadow from the gold that allows it to seem somewhat green to us. A tiny, tiny bit of that green feeling. I really like, I like all of them. I like all of them. But this one is just very cheerful. This one's just very fun. And I really love the flow of the composition. This would have made like a really great dynamic figure. You know, because you could have the full body figure, and then you could have the mirrors, and then the flowing ribbon. This would make a really, really nice figure. The dual tail is like she's mimicking being magical, but isn't actually. It's smoke and mirrors and tricks, like showing visually her magic is a trick. That is kind of one thing I was sort of wondering about that, is like, you know, is it based on, you know, if it was a bucket echo, right, then it would be more, mythological. So it's sort of like, would it be like the equivalent of putting like a horn on a horse? Making yourself look like a unicorn? I don't know. It kind of gives me that, but I could imagine, I could imagine, horse operators doing that. Sort of having that tricky feeling to it. Yeah, I understand what you're saying, Newbie. You might be right about that. You might be right about that one. Alright. Magician of Passion. There we go. Okay, definitely Magician. Tolling her decision, the stage costume is made manifest in the realm of dreams. For as easily as she will scry your hearts, so one can scarcely scry hers. Interesting. Interesting. I love the illustration. I'm not as much of a fan of the chibi. These ribbons are doing a lot to fill the space. I'm glad these ribbons were included. They're helping. The black feather boa confusing the tail situation is throwing me off. It's alright. It's still pretty good. It's still pretty good. It's not as nice and flowy as like the big fancy dresses filling out more of the space, but it's alright. The black, violet, and red are nicely balanced. Your tails need to be a little more outward. Yes, I agree, 100%. Alright. And last one here. Mutsumi Wakaba. Alright. This one is really sweet. Alright here. Okay, we've kind of got this broken mirror effect with herself. That's always an intriguing trope. Oh my gosh, just draw this finger slightly higher, please. Really intriguing way of drawing these flowers. There we go, we got the bunny ears and the little bunny tail. A little penguin. A teddy bear. Cat. A much more detailed bunny. I would wonder if it was band members, but I don't think it is because there's no teddy bear. Or penguin. The cat and the bunny part threw me off, but interesting. Again with the chains, again with the string, this must be the dream element of it, right? Is this a suitcase? Wait, this looks like a suitcase. Hang on. No, it's probably... What's her instrument? Is it what you would carry the instrument in? This almost looks like a wing, but I think it's just a... No, it's a cloth. It's like a tassel of some sort? Definitely a broken mirror effect being made with the light. I can't see any reference to her instrument immediately, unless I'm missing something obvious. Yeah, the colors are great. The colors are really, really nice. The streak of bright neon pink being used to complement all the greens and the teals, but having it be a streak of light instead of something physical is a really great way to keep it subtle. What is your instrument, though? I thought I saw a reference with everybody else. Well, no, I take it back. We didn't see Nyamu with one. So maybe they don't always have one. This does look like an instrument case because it's cushioned, though. Which is what makes the mirror part so much more intriguing. Yeah, the cushioning definitely tells me that it's something to keep the instrument in. And we know it's definitely a mirror because of the shards here. Really nice shoe design here. Really nice. Really nice fabric design too. Really great flow between them. She does have sort of like a living doll feeling to her, doesn't she? Alright, also very curious to know what this is going to be about. In due time, anyway. In due time. I'm so, like, I'm so intrigued to know what their storylines are going to be, based on these. Are these... No, I guess these are just ribbons. I wasn't sure if this was a leaf motif. Well, maybe. They're kind of leafy. I don't think they're meant to... Well, I don't know. Green leaves, maybe? I'm not getting too many clues. Oh, no, I take it back. This is kind of... This looks like a leaf, a branch. Something with leaves on either end. There is slight leaf motif here. There's a little bit of leaf motif in the necklace, a little bit on the stockings, a bit on the shoes, perhaps? Maybe it's more abstract than I'm giving it credit for, but it's an interesting idea. Seeing if I can get anything else from this. The fact that this fabric is sort of going around the flowers is intriguing, too. Yeah, lots of greenery, lots of playing with the teal. Also, is this lavender? Lavender and teal is a really good combination, too. The lighting on this is very nice. Very, very, very nice lighting. Again, this bright, bright highlight helping everything else. Also the angle, right? The angle of the lighting mixed with the angle of the fabric here is also... It flows nicely together. Actually, it's pretty direct, now that I'm seeing it. Because we have the fabric going this direction, then we have the light going this direction, this piece of fabric going this direction, and then the shards of glass going this direction. There's a big pointed composition going around here. A big lower left directional push here. Which is nicely balanced by the fact that the case is opening in this direction, right? So it kind of is creating a nice, almost like a very, very subtle counterbalance X shape, I would want to say. I think they did a good job with that. Keeps things more visually interesting. Yeah, I love all these skins, and the fact that they're limited is very, very terrible for the wallet. Oh, but they're gorgeous. They really, the artist did a very, very good job on these, really. Marionette's ID, or maybe id? Told in her decision, the stage costume is made manifest in the realm of dreams. By her own fingers, she will puppet the strings, unseal the closed box, and grant freedom to every doll. Interesting. Very, very interesting indeed. Oh, look! She actually gets the... I didn't notice that she gets the chibi bunny in the skin itself? Nobody else has a little chibi animal. She gets a chibi bunny. Okay, that's really good for Newbie. I'm very happy for Newbie on that. I'm very happy for Newbie. Newbie gets a little chibi green bunny alongside this outfit. Also, I'm very glad that Newbie was able to pull her in, like, in very, very few pulls, and she ended up being the first 5-star, so I'm really glad that Newbie's luck on this banner was very, very kind. Very, very kind to him to give Bun Knights help. I love the little chibi bunny. It's perfect. Chibi Bunny is also doing a great job with building the whole thing in terms of the chibi itself, but her big floppy ears here are doing a great job for the composition of the piece too. Yeah, that's really cute. That's really sweet. Is the bunny sitting on her coattail? She's gonna trip. Maybe the bunny is helping, perhaps? Like, I don't know. It's really cute though. There's one more skin we can do, but it's preloaded for 14th, Valentine's, but we can do it now if you want, and just not throw it over to another stream, up to you. It's okay. I know there's a few that I haven't reviewed, that I think there's like a few different ones that we haven't reviewed yet, so next Thursday I'll have like a different art plan, and then we'll just do those few really quickly. Does that sound good? Moral support, there you go. Moral support, bunny. Yeah, that is all the skins today. I didn't really like think this through very well. It's the Shamare skin. I will we'll check it out on Thursday, alright? We'll check it out Thursday. You can check it out now but can't buy it. Yeah, because it would be the thing is, I want to try to keep it all the same UI if possible. Being able to move around and zoom in and out and everything, and not just have to jump to like an art program or something. So, we'll check it out. We'll check it out later. Check it out later. I have not given it a hard look. I saw it in passing because you tagged me, but I did not give it a hard look because I knew that we would want to review it later. It would have helped me if it had been released today, but hey, that's okay, that's fine. That's alright. We'll get them next time. Yeah. I don't know. I don't really... I apologize for my lack of planning. I don't really have any other things planned. I thought that this would be larger, and then as I was starting stream, I was like, oh wait a minute. That was a little silly on my part. So I apologize for that. For that? Yes. What? That's alright, we're used to it. Oh, jeez. I apologize. But it's alright. What are you guys doing? What are you guys doing here? What's with the little cat mouths, huh? Why? Why? What is the purpose here? I'm very confused now. What do you want me to say? How do you want me to react to this? We're feeling a little quirky. Oh my gosh. They're all Nyabu fans. Seems so, yes. It does seem so. Oh goodness. We are now Nyamu fan. You guys are crazy. Birthday pram art? What? Did you say you have a fave? Sakiko's is my favorite because thematically, it's basically my ideal aesthetic. Sakiko's is by far my favorite. I hadn't even looked at her skin before today, and it's literally the aesthetic I'm going for. Nyamu's sending her chat to rate us. Make birthday pram piece? Do I have her PNG on me? Let me see if it's in my folder here. I didn't even think about this, so like I don't even know what to do for it. I wouldn't even know what to do for it. What am I trying to look for? Jeez. There we go. Do I have this saved? I thought I did? Let me see here. Why do I not have it saved? Alright. Give me a sec. Pram with baby Snap? That'll be cute. And moose. Grass. Oh. Alright. Alright. There we go. Let me save that for next time. Gosh. WebP is the worst format ever, I swear. Okay. Like, I get why people use it, but it does not help me when I'm trying to figure out, just basic PNGs that I want to save. There we go. Save that one. Let's have a star yapping session about why Aroma is the- oh my gosh. Both in design and gameplay. I would be curious how you would argue the design portion. That would be intriguing. Let me see here. Let me save this as like a... Wait, can I do it this way? Hang on. Trying to get things set up on the fly, it's not easy. Let me just change canvas here. And image resolution, make that double. Sure, that works. I don't even know what I'm drawing. You guys are throwing me off, like... Let's see how this goes anyway. The thing is, like, I usually try to pick a pose ahead of time, and I didn't even think of a pose this time, so I'm just like, I don't know what I'm doing now. But hey, we'll attempt, okay? We'll attempt. Let me, mute this. Continue here. And we'll jump in here? There we go. We'll try our best. Trying to think here. The thing is, like, I'm not good at planning out the birthday art sometimes. Maybe just a chibi would be okay. Would that be alright? Maybe just a chibi? I'm trying to think what would work. I'm trying to see if I can do anything cute. Let me think. Also, wait, let me also... Throw in a time lapse just in case. I've been wanting to get better at practicing chibis, and I don't really get much of a chance to do it, so maybe we'll take advantage of this opportunity to do a little chibi. How does that sound? Why are you guys talking about what? Maybe something like this? Trying to think here. Maybe, like... Time-lapse just in case. The time-lapse should always be a short. Yes, that's exactly why. That's exactly why. Although I don't know if the canvas proportion is good for it. Let me just, make this a little longer just in case I need to change it. There we go. Might not be exact, but hey, we'll see. Alright. Give you big snap ears here. I'm trying to think. Sometimes I can do better with layouts. Not always here. Maybe we'll have the bell just sort of... I'm trying to do my best with filling the space. I'm trying to fill the space as best I can without having planned anything ahead of time. I'm trying to get the right composition. Maybe, alright, alright, let's, sound like a broken record. Let me try laying out the body first, and then figuring out what's gonna happen to the tail, because the tail does a lot in terms of composition, too. And I haven't, like... Oh, if we turn this, maybe? Trying to think how I want her tail to be. I still have to do those chibis of Reed and Necras that I sketched out. I still think about that sometimes. I'm like, that still needs to be done. I still owe that. Oh shoot, why am I painting in white now? Something like this? Maybe we'll curve it a little? Maybe we'll curve it a bit at the top here. Yeah, I do plan to finish the read piece. I just haven't gotten around to it. Because I knew that I wanted to make it better, so I knew that I had to do a lot of it off stream, and I'll probably end up doing the same thing here, to be honest. But if I could just get something started, that would be good. Pram would make a really cute figure, too. A really cute chibi figure, I think. We get the pieces here. Design-wise, because she is absolutely gorgeous and simplicity works so well for her. But it's not that simple. Her design is actually pretty complex, I have to say. Like, I remember trying to do that challenge piece, remember? And, I was struggling with getting all her design elements done in time. Alright, maybe I'll squish this a little bit, so it fits a little nicer. I have a hard time making out her outfit. Especially with the tail's in the way, so it's kind of hard for me to make out what her design is. I think, alright. Trying to figure out what her hands are doing as well. Not sure if you saw me talking about it the other day, but you're up to something devious. What? Why are you up to something devious? Okay, you know what? Maybe instead, maybe I'm making my life too complicated. It's a chibi. Chibis are supposed to be cuddly. So what if we did this instead? What if we did something like this instead? Make it really, really, really floofy and cuddly. Pram E2 for reference? That might help actually, because it might show off more, design-wise. Or I just cover everything with tail. I don't know. Yeah, that might help either way, actually. Might help either way. Do something like this. Not always easy to get that cute chibi look. It's sometimes really hard to get down right. Making the eyes lower usually helps. Making the head tilted a little. I'm doing what I can on really short notice too, so. Yeah, a little bit of a head tilt is good, unless that made it look normal. No, that's fine. That's good. Maybe we'll make that a little bit less intense. And a little further over so it's not falling or anything. Can't tell which way I want it yet. If I want it like a cross or not. I think I've seen enough, like, chibis holding, like, basic pillows and fluffy things that I would know how this looks. Chibis are, like, they're very deceiving because they look really simple, so you think they'd be really easy to draw, but their simplicity in visual appearance is counteracted by the fact that their proportions have to be done right, otherwise it ends up looking really awkward if you don't get it right. Chibis can just look very off very quickly, very easily. So I'm trying to do what I can here. Might need to make it a little bit larger, a little different. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Make that... See if I can fill the space nicely. That's gonna be the other part of her outfit. And then maybe we'll make this a little bit larger. Let's see how that would look. This was a little larger. Let me just check it against both sides. It's like 2.5 heads tall or 2 heads tall. Kind of go either way when it comes to chibi style. What kind of style do you guys like? Do you like, do you usually like 2.5 heads or 2 heads when it comes to a chibi look? You can kind of go either way. Operator sprites are about 2.5 to 3 heads, it looks like, because I still have, Mutsumi's skin up here. Two? You seen the braids? I'll add in the braids. It's really, really rough right now, so it's just sort of like everything's sort of jumbled in as I'm trying to figure out where everything goes. Two heads makes it closer to the original and less goofy? Wait, what do you mean closer to the original? There's no original. 2.5? Maybe, let me try if I... Let me see if I can compromise a little. Like, maybe... That's like kind of in between. This might be better just because it sort of shows off how big the tail is. Might be good. Maybe we'll curve this just a tiny bit more. And this bell has 2 tassels, so we'll add it here to also make it a little nicer to look at. There's a little bit more fancy stuff on the bell here. How would that look? Like, if I was to make that into, like, merch or something, would that work? I'm always looking at, like, visually seeing how things lay out, right? That's also part of composition. That's okay. The bell might be a little too large. Still want to be able to see it, but maybe make that a little smaller, a little lower. No, that actually works better when it's a little bit off-center, but maybe we'll make it a little smaller. It's gonna end up being, like, another project that I can't finish on stream because I need to, like, make it all nice and refined. Doze off for 20 minutes and there's a Prama sketch? What sorcery? Maybe make it attach with the bell handle? Oh, wait, that would be- wait, what if I... What would it look like if I did this? Would that be awkward? Or would it work? If the... Wait. If the field of gravity here, right, was like... If this was your field of gravity, this is probably what it would be doing. And then... make that a little tighter here. Because then it would end up doing this. I don't know where this came from. Trying to do it while it's half covered. It would probably end up looking like that. That could be really interesting. That could be really, really interesting. Let me just turn it a little bit so it doesn't look like she's entirely falling. Just a tiny bit here. Which is also a good counterbalance, I think. And then let me see how it was before, just real quick, just to, okay. It was fully up before, and now it's falling a little bit more. So, what I should probably do then is add a little bit more fabric here, just to have some visual crevice, and then her hair. Just so it's not just a single strand here, right? And then if I actually, ooh, if I make this curved, it might actually work even better. I'll have to see. If it was doing something like this. Was not expecting to work on this today, but I'm enjoying it. Her hair ends at about here, so that works. Yeah, I think that's a pretty good composition. Looks like she's in a bag? What? Let me save this real quick. Make sure that this is all saved. I think I have a folder for this. Yes, I do. Okay. And then how many pixels is this right now? Because I kind of just randomized it a little. 2K by... almost 4K. That's fine. It's almost 3K. I can make it a tiny bit larger if I have to. There we go. Yeah, 2K by 4K. Beautiful. There we go. That's definitely large enough to print. Judeo, hello, hello. Not now, but when it has the outer line of what will be the plastic around it. Oh, the You mean when I was doing the Oh, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying now. I get what you mean now. Alright, let me liquefy this upward a little so it's not hanging too much. Let me just look at here. No, it's actually probably okay. I'm just trying to think because it's gonna get, because that top piece is gonna make it a lot larger. Alright, maybe we'll just do this piece. Really subtle, but sort of just fits it there. Such floof indeed. We love the floof. We love all the floofs. Fua fua is very important. I'm just trying to see how it, how the whole thing flows. With the fabric and everything. Right. And the feet. Oh, actually, I think I liked it before. This is why we test things. It's really subtle, but... Alright, I think I like it there. I think I can see Twitch chat. I think it's working. Wait, I'm trying to make sure I didn't miss anything here. Don't liquefy Fram. I gotta make sure that it works nicely. There we go. That's good. It's a really subtle effect, but it just sort of makes sure that everything is where it should be. I'm checking it against... I keep flipping the canvas to make sure that it looks okay on each side as I continue with details and everything. Let me do that. And let's twist this ever so slightly. Because even if it is twisted, as long as the circle is there, then it'll work fine. If this is just the image, right? Let me see. I'm trying to think about center of gravity. This won't matter if it's a sticker, but this is like, if I decide to turn this into something, then it's important to consider center of gravity. I don't know if I will, but just the fact that we're designing it with that in mind is always helpful, right? I'll probably go about... It's probably fine. It's not for a commission. I was just told to draw Pram today because I think her birthday is coming up. If not actually being... I forget when. It might be today. I don't even remember. But I do remember seeing that it was at some point soon. So this is a good time to... This is a good time to draw. I wasn't planning on it, so... That's sort of why I'm a little flustered and working as I can live right now without planning. So we're gonna have to just see how it goes. I'm just sort of emptying the spaces here and seeing what needs what. I'm a little thrown by how this is a little too much in the same direction. I'm trying to figure out if I can break it apart further. Tomorrow? 13th of February? Wait, tomorrow's Friday the 13th. Oh, jeez. You reacted to Ave Mujica fashion. I did earlier, yeah. We started the stream doing that. And tomorrow I'll find out the contest results, but it's Friday the 13th, so that's scary. That's really scary. Oh, that's really scary. We'll just have to see how it goes. Trying to see how I want to lay out her outfit. It's kind of confusing because her tail goes above her outfit, but if I'm not careful, then this whole thing will just feel flattened. You got the blessings of birthday girl with you with this drawing? Trust? That means I have to finish it. That's scary. Let me... Alright, does that... Yeah, that kind of minimizes the floof. So let's keep the floof. This is also going around? It's also going around, okay. Like... about here, let's say. Ah, that feels so stiff. Feels so stiff, jeez. Yeah, we already have this piece folded over, so we're not gonna do it twice. It looks better if it's not. This is why it's good to test these things, right? And then let me move this over. Make this a little bit rounder. Yeah, that's a little bit better. You can speak for the server when I say this as a sticker, please? Wait, when would you use this? When would you use this as a sticker? It's not really an emotion, so... The use case is yes. I mean, if you think you're gonna use it. I don't even have my own stickers done. Use a Pramanex sticker as an announcement. Like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell. Oh my gosh. That's amazing. That's amazing. No, that's incredible. Because I could just have it, like, come up as, like, a little GIF, and then I could just have, like, a little, like... Have it as, like, a silly notification GIF. That's incredible. I wish we could use stickers on YouTube. When? Dunno, just start daily pram posting. Oh, I wish I could animate now. I think you're right with the head size, Judeo. I think that I tend to prefer the look of 2.5, even though most of the stuff I see is 2 in terms of head count. I think I usually like 2.5. I think Nendroid is 2.5, if I recall. So that would make sense. Pram needs to be a Nendroid. That'd be cute. Think here. Again, when I start getting more and more detailed, because I'm doing this live without having planned it first, I am sort of exploring a little bit as I go. So I'm not 100% like knowing how I'm going about the piece. So I'm letting you know now. I sometimes think that it's okay for me to be exploratory on stream, but then when I get past the exploring phase and I start refining, then I start getting a little nervous with the stream. So yeah, just like little heads up, I guess. And then, hopefully once I get the fur in here, I'll be able to break up this shape a little more so it feels more natural and not so stiff. I feel like this is still a little bit off. Maybe it needs to be outward a little. Yeah, that feels a little... It doesn't feel better on the legs, but it feels better for the piece. If I do that, is it fine? No, now it looks like her legs are too far away. I like how it is on the dress, I just don't like how it is on the tail right now. And this is sort of when I just make like a lot of like subtle adjustments, you know? He looks eepy. Exactly. Very intentional. Let me just see how this is. Trying to see how the tail looks. Because I just don't want this feeling that almost feels like a straight line right now. I'm trying to get rid of the straight line. That's basically what my goal is at the moment, is getting rid of the straight line feeling. And that's okay. I could live with this. That works. Let me just pull this up a little bit further. Am I gonna have room for these sleeves? Probably not. Well, maybe. I think the tip of the tail is gonna have to be larger. I'm gonna have to extend it just a bit further out. Wait, what is her... Oh, wrong one. Does she... Oh, I was mistaking this, this for a sleeve. It's not a sleeve. Hang on. It's a sleeve way further away, so it probably would not actually show. So that's fine. I'll still make the tail a little bit larger. I know these all seem really subtle, but it does help to just make these, like, tiny, tiny little micro adjustments, because overall, they'll make a huge difference. What I should probably do at some point is, like, do this and then, like, have before and after, so you guys can see why these micro adjustments make such a difference when I do them. Because otherwise I think it's a little hard to see when it's just, like, tiny bit by tiny bit. Let me see if I can bring up the tail a little bit here. Just a little bit more. Because it still feels like it's falling. That's better. I think. Hard to tell. Yeah, that's falling a little bit less. And then... It's also one of those things where it's hard to tell if you're looking at it too much. Because again, I'm trying to get rid of that straight line feeling that I have. So if I made this slightly adjusted, would that work? Or would that throw off the balance? I think we might start throwing off the balance if we're not careful. Yeah, I like it, more swingy. Maybe the whole thing? How would that look? Yeah, that just feels right. That wouldn't really matter. That's just a matter of, like, how you position it at that point. But that's fine. And then this piece, if it goes downward, does that work better? Or... Again, little micro adjustments that I'm just noticing as I go through the piece. As I work on trying to get the main shape. Yeah, that's fine. It's fine the way it is. Wait, which way was this drawn originally? Wait, did we draw it this way? I don't even remember now. I'm having a hard time remembering, like, which original direction we had. Okay, yeah, it was this. This was fine. This is all good. And then this would be... I want her hair to floof out a little bit more so that it floofs a little bit closer to the dress. Her hair is floofy anyway, so it works. There we go. What? Hang on a sec. Hmm? What? Hang on a sec. Among other things, Arknights, there appears to be a battle pass-like system where you get points for leveling up a 5-star unit. Interesting. The thing that bothers me about the max level thing that they're giving out is that it would make it really hard to keep everybody even. And then it's like an OCD issue. I know I've talked to people about that. I know they can relate to that. I know someone in here can relate. Just get everyone to E260. Yeah, exactly. But the problem is when you use one of those things that maxes them, then it makes them like what? E270? 80? Something like that? And then it's like, now it's off! Have your favorites maxed, have everyone else even? I mean, yeah. I am planning to max Suzerain and Vulpes at some point. I gave that up a while ago when they last gave one out. You max all of them? It's like once you have one at 90, then you feel like they all have to be. Once you've fleshed out a team, you don't have to worry about other characters. You can just focus on one or two at a time. Fair. Alright, is there any other micro adjustments that we need to make? I'm trying to think if there's like any last little pieces I'm missing here. $96 exclusive, 80 is 5 stars. I know! That's why I wanted to have all of them at 60! The way you got around that was choosing a particular group of ops that you were allowed to max. In your case, Rhode Island Elite Operators. That's fair. That's fair, that makes sense. Wait. What? You really don't? I stopped carrying at E260? But that's the thing, like, that you can't make it all even. If you use those things, then you go past E260. Making a category is smart, though. Like, that actually does make sense. Making a little category for him that way. I have to figure out how I want to do the hair later. The hair's really confusing. You've some E290, some E260, it doesn't bother you that much? I mean, that's fair. As long as it's like... I guess as long as they're even numbers, right? As long as you don't have, like, you know, E263 or something. You can also just bank them. It's not like you're fundamentally opposed to hoarding. I mean, at some point I'll get yelled at. But hey, I E1'd the 5 stars for this event so that I could carry them through the event a little further. You're about to say something else after 6, weren't you? I specifically changed the number so that no one would freak out. Specifically changed it to a 3. Whenever you see 90, you turn the screen upside down so it looks like 60. That is just 6! Maxed is still the correct one? Sometimes you feel the word maxed with one video. Oh. E26, yeah. Not sure about that one. Yes, exactly. I'm trying to prevent Raoul from doing a freak out. Or Daho, to be fair. Wait, where's this being attached? Oh, jeez. Where's this being attached? Is this being attached to the top? It is attached to the top, okay. There's a lawn handle here. This might cause it to be a little bit awkward. Wait, maybe I'll just do it like this so it goes around. That could work. And then we'll do it like this or so. It's not... This might be tricky to do. Because then it's just gonna get... Alright, might have to adjust this a little bit. Because it's gonna get too long if I was to put, like, an acrylic hole at the top, unless I just did it right through here. How large does that have to be? It would probably just get stamped through the center. I don't know if that would be awkward or not. Like, it would probably just cut into the artwork. I guess it's fine. The thing, though, is that the bell itself is a lot larger. So I'm not really sure how I'm gonna fit this in. I guess there's space here. Yeah, there's space to make it a little lower, for sure. Something like that. And there's the Raoul freakout. It would cut through the artwork. So instead of having like this little centerpiece, it would just sort of be cut directly through. But it would sort of allow that handle feeling. So it's probably fine. And again, I have no idea if I would actually ever make these into acrylic charms. But the idea being there is important too. And chat's on fire. Why is chat on fire? I think it's cute. I think it could work well. I've only done one order of acrylic charms in my lifetime, and I don't know if this would be like enough to justify. But it is really cute and really fitting, I have to say. Even if it just ends up being a digital sticker, I think it still works. And whoever said ring that notification bell, I love you, the idea's perfect, I'm using it. Frankly, I would be shocked if other Arknights content creators haven't already used that. I'm sure they have, but I still love it. Wow, Daho with a fire extinguisher this time. That's an unusual one. How did that happen? Is it Friday the 13th or opposite day? Tomorrow is Friday the 13th. Yeah, what is happening? I hope you can get enough rest. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to finish this today, but the thoughts are at least there, right? The birthday thoughts are at least there. I genuinely don't know if I can finish this today. Because it would be a lot. I'm ending her solemn holy ritual by yelling smash like and subscribe. That's crazy. Make like a little bit of a subtle eyepiece here. Do we have... Alright. Just the two. Noted. This is probably just gonna fit one. Make this go a little higher. And a little bit lower here, too. See how that looks. And then, of course, we need the collar going over the head a little bit. Is this a little... This is a little bit off, I think. That's better. I'm gonna make this look a little bit thinner, so it's not... This doesn't look sleepy, this just kind of looks... not the expression I'm looking for. So we'll do this so it's cuter. And their hair goes much further down. About here, I would say. Make it the illusion that there's another braid on the end. Where would that be? About here? Imagine Praminix becoming a streamer like Click. The bell is her Oshi mark. Oh my gosh, I love it. What type of streams would she have? Like, if Pram was a streamer, what type of stuff do you think she would stream? Would she be like a comm streamer, or do you think that that would be like, what's that word? A word when you act differently from how you look. Crafts would be your guess? That would be fun. I would totally join crafts with Praminix. That would be fun. Yep, Moe, thank you. That's what I was thinking of. Fan in time? Pram learns about streaming from Cliff Art, which she got interested in. Now she goes to Click and You Official for tips into content creation. She gets popular for being wholesome. I love it. She feels like she would have somewhat of a fauna vibe, I think. Well, don't start now. I feel like her... little ruff is falling a little bit. There we go. Make that a little bit... maybe make the mouth a little closer to the eyes. Yes. Yes, definitely. This is chibi proportion. Make the mouth closer to the eyes, and it just makes it so much cuter, like, immediately. Magic trick right there. Like... perfect. Arts and crafts with mandalas? I could see that. Something with like beadwork, right? Jewelry. Jewelry. Jewelry stream. Jewelry making streams. That could be fun. I'm gonna have to clean this up way more later, but I'm just sort of trying to get the idea of where I need to clean it up. This needs to be closer to her face. Which also means the braid needs to be closer. Pretty decent for something we decided to just do on a whim suddenly. I'm trying to think of like how her hands need to be. I try not to do like pure paws when it comes to chibi. I try to still make the hands look humanoid. But trying to figure out the best way to do that. Again, I think the Nendroid style is what visually inspires me the most for these things. I think Nendroid just has, like, the ultimate chibi design. I think they just nailed the proportions so well, you know? Let me see how that looks compared to the previous one. Make it a little... hard to get it right. Sometimes. Do something like that. I'll just leave it like this. And then this hand, I'm not entirely sure what it's doing. Make it a little smaller like that. What was it doing before? It was like kind of mitten-like before, wasn't it? Let's see what it was doing before. Okay. There we go. I think that works. And this can be a little downturned. And I'll keep adjusting it so it doesn't just look like AI. 2, 3, 4, alright. I'll keep adjusting it so it looks okay. I'm just sort of trying to figure out which way I'm going with it. It doesn't feel as... Alright, let me copy these? And then undo. not getting the same feeling across. I'm trying to figure out why. Out here. It's sort of an easier trick if you need to sort of swap between things and see how they would look. Did I accidentally make the same ones? I did. Alright, hang on. Alright, there we go. And see if we can work from that. Maybe we'll just try refining it from here a little bit. That might work better. Problem is needing to show a thumb, and the thumb kind of gets in the way. And say, sort of... Might have to play with that one a little bit more. Why would it look like AI? If I didn't count the right number of fingers. Although I think a lot of times chibi, people just make chibi with 4 fingers. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I'll circle back to that part later. Is this going upward? It is. Okay. That makes a difference. I really need to... I'll look at the E2 later to see what her, clothing is supposed to be. Because I feel like she might need a sleeve or 2 here. Not really sure yet. Most of this part, though, is just, like, you know, a long work of refining. Just trying to get the right shapes in. This part kind of takes the longest. However, the way I'm trying to do it lately is building the sketch into line art. So it does, you know, take a little bit longer. However, I'm hoping that this is like, creates a nicer, more natural feeling line that doesn't feel as stiff. A little bit more painterly in general. And yeah, this is when I do a lot of flipping back and forth on the canvas. I'll actually see how they have her tail here. Well, it is kind of the same. Alright. What is gap moe? Gap moe is when the way a character presents themselves is different than what you would expect based on their trope or appearance. So for example, if Pram looks really sweet and gentle, and she actually streamed, like, Call of Duty or something. It's like, it's just not what you would expect. She also has, some tassels here in the back I don't want to lose. I'm gonna have to figure out how her cloak goes over and how to make that work with her hair and everything. I'm glad we used this side because then we get to have a little bit of extra here. Should I try to fit in her necklace, or is that's not really gonna fit, is it? I think her hand's gonna go in front of that. I don't think her necklace is gonna fit visually in there. She also has some sort of watch. Looks like a watch. Have a good rest of your night, Daho. Sleep well. The only issue with looking at an operator's E2 art, I just remembered this, is that sometimes their E2 outfit is not the same as their E1 outfit. Oh wait, is she in any of the art books? Is there a layout of her design in the art book, maybe? Ramsey 2 is the same? Okay. It bothers me a lot when that happens, because then I suddenly want a second outfit for free. Not even just for free, just like the ability to have it, right? That's what it should be. It should be like, you know, if you max them, then you get the second outfit or something. That would feel fulfilling. And then everyone would want to, like, have that in the chibi. Braids can be a bit of a pain to figure out. Ironically, like, the last 3 characters I've had to draw had braids in them. Like, Arcu's Lamia design also has braids. Something like that. Maybe I'll just make this a short, and then I'll have, like, you know, stay tuned for part 2 or something. And then if I can't get this done for her birthday, at least I got a short out for her birthday. I was planning on doing that for the Hoshi sculpture too, but the Hoshi sculpture genuinely was not gonna get done at all to like any valid point of stage work. Otherwise, I would have done a part 1 and 2 for that. Oh, she basically has to be started over from scratch, but that's okay. I'll do it. I'll still do it. What is that about a Hoshi sculpture? I didn't get to finish it. I tried to make a Hoshi sculpture for the Atto event. It didn't go very well. So I'm gonna have to redo it from scratch with different material and a different approach, see how it goes, and then make a video on it later. I was trying to do it as a video submission, but I did not get to making it in time. But that's okay, because I did a 2D art submission instead, and I'm gonna try to make sure that I sleep tomorrow. Or today. I need to make sure that I sleep today. You guys are probably gonna wake up before me tomorrow, so whatever happens, please be kind. I mean, I know you will, but I'm just saying, like... You guys are probably gonna know before I do. Yeah, the results are tomorrow. But it's gonna be before time zone for me. And if I am smart, I'm not gonna stay up all night, because that would not be productive. Nothing I can do about it, so. Whatever happens, happens. It works as a portfolio piece either way. Try not to say more than that so I don't jinx myself. But thank you, I appreciate that. Thank you, Raoul. I mean, look, I'll never say no to that. I'll never say no to extra luck. I really do think this style helps me make pretty fast progress. I'm still trying to work on not being super perfectionist on the line art side of things, but... Actually, this is probably the point where I could start adding coloring. I'm still trying to figure out how this art style works that I'm developing. Like if I would do coloring now, if I'd clean it up a little bit more, could kind of go either way, to be honest. Alright, let's make this braid a little bit more curved so it's a little more visually interesting. Yes, more S shapes. We love S shapes. That's the main thing when you're doing this stuff, right? S shapes. The more S shapes you can make, the better things tend to look. Just adds more flow. Less straight lines, more S. Where's her... Alright, her braid is not going, like... super high over there. Maybe it's about here? Trying to figure out where her braid flows so that it's not obstructing too much. And that's probably her belt. About there, if it's a chibi. I still have to figure out where the sleeve goes to. This is probably where the sleeve is. I should not do coloring in like that. It always causes problems later. Let's see how that goes. Bram is pretty grayscale, so I don't have too much to base in. But let's just see here. Her jewelry is doing so much work. Wait, do I want that to be... Am I getting confused by the pieces? I think I'm getting confused by the pieces. This is why we base out. Alright, let's do the whole... Let me start this over. Let's do the whole thing in a color that we can see. Because so much of this is going to be on white. So let's just quickly get down something visually visible, and then when we change it, we can see what we're doing. And I'll probably clean up the line art further than what I have now, but this is just to sort of get an idea of where we are. Just go around here. I'm not using the best tools to do this because I'm just trying to see where everything is. Fix that a little bit. And then I can lock it. And then grab her actual color here. Now we can actually see what's happening. So again, I want to make sure that the color feels balanced. So for some reason, I thought this was going to be beige. So I might have to adjust the line art based on how the coloring ends up being laid out. And this is why we test things. And there's also why it always takes me a long time, because I'm testing things. Maybe about there? And the bottom of her hair tips are colored. Okay. I'm gonna need to add some highlights to make sure that things actually do show up differently. So I can visually see what's happening. Make that a cleaner color later, too. Maybe the eye should be larger? 'Cause it's a chibi, right? Well, that makes a huge difference. Yes! Chibi eyes need to be large! Absolutely. Absolutely needs to be a thing, yes. Very important. In the E2, the little things on the end of her coat are beige. See? They make tiny, tiny, tiny little adjustments. Just to mess you up. Just to throw things off. Just to make you crazy. Tiny little nonsensical changes. Just to make you nuts. Oh man, her necklace kind of does feel a little, like, necessary color-wise. Because it's like a big neon orange right in the center. Also, this tassel's much smaller than I realized. So that needs to be changed too. To see how this behaves as well. This probably has to be larger. And we're just gonna have to make quite a few changes here and there. But at least you can tell who it is. But yeah, we'll probably need to make some adjustments. Maybe have her hair going through around here a little bit more. Not really sure yet. Wingy Jane? I mean, if we can, if there's enough interest. I don't know if there'd be enough interest to justify it. Oh, wait! Wait, I take it back. Maybe I can do it, print on demand. If I could do a print on demand, then yeah, we could absolutely do it. Regardless of the level of interest. There might be a print on demand option for it, which would be really cool. I still have to look into that. Like, I have to do more research on that in general, but could be an option in the future. Which would be great for EU friends. I'd want to go through pod anyway for EU people, so that could work. Pod meaning that I don't have to make an order and then I don't have to like worry about quantity and everything. Pod basically means they make it when it gets ordered. So you don't have to like keep track of inventory. POD stands for print on demand. I just realized the way her tail is positioned is not going to work yet here. We have to make some adjustments. I have to make this shorter? I don't know how this is gonna work entirely yet. I don't know how to deal with the outfit yet. I can't tell, like, which part is more prominent. More prominent for Praminix. I feel like her dress needs to show more? I don't know. I did it like that, maybe? Yeah. Yeah, that looks slightly less awkward, doesn't it? This is all in a separate layer that I'm just sort of doing a paint over on, so that I can make adjustments as I need to. Still make this a little larger on the edge, just to fill out the space. That looks okay. This part is probably a lot larger than I'm realizing. But I can't really figure out, like, how it's going around, how it's wrapping. So I think I need to figure out how it wraps. It's going over as like a shawl, but Can't tell how it's affecting the tail. Maybe like that? This is where I'm struggling a little. Maybe this part could, like, maybe a few furs could stick out? Maybe that would work. See, I'm having to, like, gradually test it as I go, make sure that the design still works as it needs to. It's a little bit lighter. And I don't really know where the rest of her arm is, so... maybe like that? So I can still see everything. A highlight here. Again, so we can still see everything. This is why it takes so much tweaking. Maybe if we change the spot here, and then we can now see the difference between the layers of clothing easier. See, each thing I'm doing is trying to... basically my goal is every time I make one of these little changes, I'm trying to increase clarity. I'm doing my best to increase clarity. I'm doing my best to make it easy to see what the item is and where each layer of everything is. By increasing clarity, you make an easier to understand design. So that's kind of what I'm putting my time into doing right now, is like making the design clearer. And then I have to also try to figure out, like, how much is that tail allowed to show through? Where is the line of the cape? Stuff like that. I think it's a bit of a clearer read. Maybe. Really hard to tell. The cape's throwing me. Maybe make it a little bit less, like... if I could tell what it was doing, that would help. Looking at this and being like, oh, maybe I should have done the winter outfit instead. The fancy looking one. With the black dress. Maybe would have made my life a little easier. I think what's throwing me is that the stripe lays down differently. The stripe should be going around like this. Unless there's a thing of hair in the way. If the stripe gets laid out like this, then it might be easier to read. Because then the way that we're working is like, now it feels like it's curving on one layer, right? It's hard to not make it look too awkward. Probably fine as it is, just doing this so that we don't lose what it actually is meant to be. I don't have this big cape part here so that we have our shoulder in. And yeah, this tassel here is much, much smaller than I realized. This should be like start way up here. And then it should only, like, barely touch the tip here. Say up here. And by doing that, we also have more room for this emblem. Maybe this goes a little bit lower. Not much, though. Just enough to show a little bead a little bit higher. And then this would then probably be a little bit lower, like here, maybe. And then it at least still feels like it's on her shoulder. But I might have to move her hand a little. Her hand, well, I can't really, It really depends on if we want to try to fit in the necklace, I think. Let me see what happens if I just drag the whole thing away. Like, just as a test. If I grab the whole thing and push it down a little. And then fill in the rest of this here. Yeah, it does kind of mess with what we established before, but it's okay. Very easy, very fixable. That's the reason I didn't clean up the line art, is because by not cleaning up the line art, then we can make a lot of adjustments, a lot of changes. We can do a lot to move things around as necessary so that we're not locked in and worried about it, right? Very easy change. Very easy adjustments. Keep it flexible. And by doing that, we can have a little bit more of the necklace, or not the cuff, which makes things feel a little bit fluffier anyway. And I just think that that way her arm doesn't look like it's coming out of her neck, right? Just it feels a little bit more natural that way. I think what's bothering me right now is that the arm and the braid feel like they're attached to each other. So let's move the braid down. The braid actually could be a little smaller. Or not shorter, but like, yeah, that's better. Then we might even be able to sneak a little bit of the necklace under her arm or something. This is where her waist is. Which lines up about where the braid is. More or less. It's a little off, but that's okay. I'm gonna take the whole thing and scooch it. Give it a little scooch so that the braid feels like it's not falling, but sort of still a little curved. Makes it a little cuter. Same distance, just a little more curved makes it a little sweeter. Hopefully I didn't just redo all this so that it still looks like her arm is in the wrong place. We had to clear it up anyway. We had to make what we were doing clearer, so... But yeah, there's always sort of that nervousness that you just sort of redid everything when you didn't have to. Let me go back to the history real quick and just see where we were at. How far back can I go? I like that the braid feels more separated, but I don't like that we lost some of the cuteness. The braid kind of covered it and made it feel a little bit more, fluffier. Well, it's alright. Let's see. Alright, can I go maybe back halfway? Yeah. I think a little bit, yeah. I think a little bit. This just feels a little bit too bare now. Kind of want to go back to where we had it. That's fine, though. that changes fine with the jacket, but I'm gonna leave it about there, actually. I think I like it better where it was there. But I don't know if I can fit in that necklace. I was trying to make it not look like the hand was coming from the wrong place, but if you're... Chibi hands can be really tricky. I think it looks better this way, though. I'm just gonna have to move it a slight touch so that the braid is a little bit separated. From the arm, anyway. Just so they don't look like they're too stuck together. Yeah. Just a little bit of visual variation. But then I can move this up a little and squish it around. Move this out a little. So if I was to try to fit that in, does it work or no? It might not, but I'm at least trying. Colors aren't accurate, just doing some tests. It might not work. It just feels like it's such a bold color for her with everything else. I don't think it fits. I wanted to try. It probably can't really be done. I wanted to at least attempt it, though. I don't know. I mean, it's not the worst thing, honestly. It could work. Move her tail pattern up a little bit. It adds just a little bit more color, you know? I don't think it's that bad. I might leave it. It's pretty subtle. I don't think anyone's really gonna care either way. I can also try it on the bottom, but I don't think it's gonna show up. Probably not bad either way. It's a little closer to her waist. That's the only issue. But other than that, I have to move things around a little bit. I have to move the white part here. And have to have the waist part here. It's not undoable, though. Look like they're part of the same thing. I'm trying to avoid the tangent. And I'll have to figure out what I'm doing with this anyway. Are we okay? What is happening? Are we still... Point. But, hey, I think we got a lot of, good progress done, more than I thought that we would, so I think that's